This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trade Engine. This is your live market chat. Was it Thursday, February 1st, 2024? Yeah, hopefully you're doing well. Let's give it a couple seconds to let people file in. I was going to share some links as we get started. If you are watching this after the fact, maybe skip ahead to the 5-minute mark. I apologize. I did not share this with more folks, but that's the nature of the beast. You get caught up with some things. I'm going to do it as we speak. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here for you guys, friends, family. You guys are always great. We need to talk about some things. That's what the irony here of what's going on. I think a lot of folks are getting a little silly. And when I say silly, like they're not paying attention to the bigger picture, as most probably won't, shouldn't, can't. You know how it goes. So at this point, getting into it, watching the dollar, because we've talked about this a lot. Again, if you're familial, that dollar action, again, I'm interested to see what's happening here, because we know the economy's flopping in time. But we know China's crap. We know Europe. I mean, go look at the European banks. Good God almighty. No bueno. Like, it's just not good. Everything about what's going on, not good. And so it's kind of just the sit and wait. And the market can do what the market needs to do. Meaning, like, well, does it have to necessarily break down? Does it have to necessarily do anything? No, and this is where defining risk, having stops, being thoughtful. I mean, that's just the key here, guys. And so I get so many people who are just, they're obsessed with being right. And I mean, maybe Howard will be around today because it's like, Apple's got to crash after earnings. That's the kind of thinking that gets you screwed up, friends. I think y'all know that. You can't think like that. You just can't think like that, because I think one thing that you'll realize in time is that you can be right 7,000 times in a row, whatever you want to call it, whatever absurd number it is. And all it takes is one blow up, one mistake, one just, I can't be wrong. And guess what? Game over. And people go, oh, whoa. Well, that's just the reality of it, guys. So again, I apologize if for the late alerts on this. I had a pretty busy morning doing some tax stuff for the business, and just doing what I, try to do. And so let's, how long? I said 5-minute mark. Let's people stream in. It's a 3-minute mark. So we'll give it another 2 minutes. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Por favor. Again, I will drop, if you need, links in the chat. But again, if you're new to the channel, Discord room, link in the description below. I'll insert it into the chat. If you're going to join the Discord room, I beg you, plead with you, ask you nicely, get involved. Even if we don't agree, even if you don't see even if you don't know much about trading, ask questions. Put your ego aside, put that little figure voice away, and get involved. You're not going to learn from not doing, not trying. You got to learn how to do this stuff. And by just trying, doing things. So interesting action again yesterday with the dollar, right? Pops. And now you have that action. It's kind of what I'm watching, because I know European banks are actually imploding. So high five to those who bought the FAZ yesterday. I mean, the stops I had were around 12, and it got to 12.01. How funny was that? Buying anywhere from 12.75 down to 12.25 in increments. And then obviously buying the Soxus has been good. Taiwan Semi has been basically a lead balloon, a turd, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I mean, certain tech names, be careful. Again, we've seen the reactions to the Googs. Microsoft's holding up better. Semis, no, we'll see. Just be careful out there. That's all I can warn you, is that the market can turn quick and it also can turn slowly. Like, I've seen both perspectives many, many times. So, ooh, I apologize for the sneeze. So, yeah, almost the 5-minute mark. One more sneeze. Wow, I haven't been a 2 sneezer lately. 1, 2, 3, boom. I don't know. All right, didn't come. So watching the dollar, watching the bonds. Got to give credit to my man Jay Solstice. Again, credit where credit's due. If you come on here and you tell me something, I will always give you credit. As you guys know, even the trolls. If you're right, you're right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no ego. He said he was talking about putting on this trade, TLT, lottos. Identified, obviously, the bottom. Clear action. So far, so good. Happy for you, my friend. Great trade. VIX, we said, was an absolute gift. Gift. There you go. VIVIX, we said, was portending. Isn't that the right word? Giving signs. Like this double bottom holding up seems to be okay. Or whatever Little John says. So far, so good with that. SPY, now it's up today. And a lot of people are like, oh, hey, man, it's bullish, right? And it's like, well, all right, let's dig a little deeper. Well, you got below the 8 and 10 day, and you're now just dojing. Look at yesterday's action, right? I mean, I just need to move this candle over here and just say, and remove that, because we all know. I'm not too worried about it. That looks like game over, right? Right? Question mark, right? It's looking very game over, so... Now, I'm not saying that we can't rally at any other point, but look at the volume, folks. Some might say, well, we had it here and then it dipped. Okay, I agree with that. I think that was the last Fed meeting, if I remember correctly. Man, someone absorbed all of that and then unloaded it slightly higher. That's what it looks like. QQQ, as we talked about, been lagging lately, right? Way below the 8 and 10 day. Oh, it's a green day. Well, again, remember, are people going to go nuts? They're maybe waiting for Apple's, again, over-promising potential under-delivering. Who knows what the hell is going to happen with their earnings. You got Amazon, too, after the close. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right? Just be thoughtful. Be careful. That's all you really can say. And at this point, look at the IWM. It looks like absolute dog shiznit. We've talked about it's still 20% off the highs. All of the manufacturing index data, crap. Banks are crap. Commercial real estate's crap. But if you pump in money and liquidity into the market, it goes into the few names that have been leading. Overall market as a whole, as we talked about, not that great. DIA, now remember, has some tech in it. It's been holding up. This is what it is. Gold, I'm genuinely watching that today. Like, you got over the multi-day range. Again, the Feds haven't pivoted. I mean, did you guys see the Challenger job numbers, by the way, too? That was, it's a big cup and handle, right? Let's not argue that. Man, it's a cup and handle within the cup and handle. Look at this, y'all. It's like the cup... It's like when you go into your cupboard, you put cups inside of cups. Here's the cup on the monthly. Here is the cup on the daily. Pretty funny, right? So again, do you want to chase it? You can, I guess, if you really want. I would prefer to, again, short stocks and be curious that, liquidation breaks could take gold down. If it breaks out, remember, it's a monthly trend. You ain't missing shiznit. When this breaks out, it's going to go. And if you want to wait for the breakout, that's how I feel more confident. Because if I don't get the breakout, what if it's just more shitty chop? Right? And you have to play probabilities. And what's more likely? Gold going absolutely bonkers, silver breaking out, gold miners going nuts. If there's genuine a liquidation break and deflation expectations and bonds rise near term, it's not a sure thing. But if you want to bet it, you absolutely can. But again, I'd rather go with what I think is the easiest bets. And I've said this and I've gone on record. Taiwan Semi is the easiest short in tech. I think in time, the Magnificent Seven will crack, but clearly picking that top is not easy. But financials, as we talked about lately, hold all the risk. All the risk. I mean, look at the carry. I was watching this yesterday. It was like genuinely It didn't act so well. And then look at today's action. Big red. European banks, I think PNP, Paribas, whatever. Again, some of these European banks, again, I just don't want to butcher their names. I mean, they're just acting so bad. Pointed this out yesterday in the daily market review. I'm like, that candle says buenas noches, in my opinion. Look at that. Look at that candle. So now you go to your favorite banks and you short them. You got reference points. Morgan Stanley near 87 plus, 88. JP Mo, double top, I mean, any bounce, in my opinion, on that one. Bank of America. Man, you didn't even really get a bounce today. Oops. Fake breakout. Goldman Sachs. Man, if Goldman breaks this 375 area, look out below. So, again, pick and choose your battles. Near term, I mean, it's funny because some people are betting on certainty. I'm just betting, giving myself time. I don't think this can sustain. We talked about worst 10% pullback, in my opinion, could get uglier. Intel was one of the ones that's kind of leading this down. Look at the chip responses. AMD's been doo-doo response. Now everybody's chasing Nancy Pelosi. This feels like Reading Railroad in like the Jesse Livermore examples where like the last thing to crack, right? Like everybody piled into Reading Railroad and didn't think it could break. All right, we'll see. Meta, I mean, again, you got to be higher than a kite to be buying shares as Zuckerberg's like unloading as fast as you can. But that's what people do. Starbucks and go, look at this global growth name. Look at that big red candle. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, imagine you bought the open. Blech. You just got destroyed. And sadly, that's what people do. Caterpillar, I mean, watching this, like, wish it was earnings, but now you've got a multi-day range, 305. Nucor, some people are like, oh, it looks like it might break out. Again, I like materials long run. Same thing, gold, all that stuff, whatever. It's just really tough to trust it. If it goes, I guess, right? Letter X had earnings, right? Or no, they're tonight. Not looking so hot. Near term. Again, we've talked about it. I wouldn't short this per se, but I'd watch it. Would I go long it? No. I mean, I don't think there's much upside if the Nippon Steel deal doesn't go through. I think they'll get bought at lower prices. CCJ, holding up pretty damn well. Be on red alert, though, for double A top again. Again, it's one of those things. People go, why would you not go long these names? And again, if the market gets punished, the VIX spike, emotions run high, liquidations and hedge funds, institutions, margin calls, it's just everything. It becomes complete panic. And everybody's leveraged, and everybody has to unload. And guess what? They sell winners and losers, folks. They don't just sell the winners. Remember that? And so that's where it's like, well, your favorite name could go higher, but the odds of it like really breaking out in a market that's falling apart, got to be careful. Again, what would be the easier trade? Shorting banks or going long Nucor? Shorting banks or going long CCJ? Shorting banks or going long silver? I mean, you have to weigh these against each other, right? Shorting Taiwan Semi. I mean, just whatever. Picking a basket. Maybe you play the Qs. Maybe play the SPY. Again, be careful picking individual names because you don't know through earnings. Like, again, if it was Howard yesterday, it's just like, oh, there's zero doubt it's going below 170 on earnings or 180. I apologize, I butchered the price. But it's like, I don't want to bet on anything with Apple because it's dropped a solid, almost 8% into earnings. And I said this on the yesterday's chat. Did I not say that? Don't be surprised if there's some short covering coming into earnings tomorrow because, and tomorrow being today, because it's down a bunch. And then people who see discount will jump in. Here it is. So your 180 puts going in today just got smoked. Potentially. I mean, again, the IB should be rising gently as we get into the day, but it's like, man, take the profits when the move is moving. Remember, implied volatility. Again, I don't know if Howard knows shit about options or not, but the faster something's moving, the more valuable and expensive the options get. So even though it might not be below 180, but look at the terminal velocity here. The options got very expensive, right? So when the options get expensive, you have to trade the options based on the IV sometimes because it makes sense that if you're the market maker, right? You're writing options. You're the market maker, the specialist. What do you want the market? What do you want the stock to do? You want it to just slow down. You want this implied volatility. So all those people who bought puts just get murdered for just holding them. Well, if you got out of the money puts, kapow. SMH talked about this. Any questions? Again, don't please hesitate to interrupt. That's the top. Here's your blow off with volume, and here's your outside reversal bar. I mean, it's not really a complete reversal bar, but you throw in these two candles together, and what you have is a, look at this. Let's just make it fun. It's not drawing. Oh, there you go. Pretend that's one bar. It's like, get on it. Whatever. Right? If you put those together, what would you think now? Okay, so I can't mess with it. If that was one bar, what would you think? Looks pretty shitty, right? Netflix, again, I could go through all of these up in range, but I'm here for you guys. I'm just curious. Let's pull up. Again, if you're new to the channel, Discord room, link description below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. All the comments, likes, sharings. Again, if you're part of the Discord room, I appreciate you guys doing that daily. Some of you that do, it means the world to me. Remember that. Those little things mean a lot to me because I know that shows your support of the channel. So when things are ever tough for you, you do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always here for you guys. Website almost done. Follow on the Twitter. Yep. That's right. So again, Feds can't do anything, right? They're kind of stuck. And that's where the odds of actually a cut next quarter, in March, dropped yesterday. But now the market needs to drop if the market's going to get a cut. The market knows that. That's where it's like, man, you're kind of in the pole position here as a bear. Like if you want that rate cut, you need the market to drop. Bitcoin, as we've talked about, again, I hate people who believe in certainty. Again, I don't know if Bitcoin's the future. Again, everyone believes it's the future. Then why isn't it not breaking out? Why is it not taking out new highs? So if I'm wrong, great. I hope it does. But again, it's not even about wrong or right. If the technicals, it keeps trading technically. This is a blow off top, 20% down move. Now it's making a lower high and pivots. I'm telling you, wouldn't be surprised to see it 32,000. And then again, if you just bought and held it and you didn't trade it, that's your fault. That's a problem. Oh, hodl. Okay, whatever. Oils, we talked about. It's going to be tough with this SPR needing a refill. There's a huge short interest. I mean, we'll see. Nat gas, all my trading stuff, all the stuff got deleted. Oh, there it is. Just hit refresh, I guess. I like it. I don't think there's much downside. Again, I've screamed from the top of the mountain. KOLD, if you're layering in up here, it makes sense, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they throw a little natural gas out with the baby with the bathwater kind of thinking, right? And if that happens, hey, okay, this is why you layer in. Define your risk. Be smart. Comprende? Comprende? Right? So, anyway, it just kind of is what it is at this point. Sorry, I'm just reading a message. First Solar, I was just looking at some of these solar names. 20-day, ding, 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 ding. If you're watching that one. Again, tech names. Again, if you really want to short Microsoft, I mean, look, you have to use the references here. Like there's a bunch of, if you go on the hourly, you'd see it. The 407s. Talked about NDAQ as toast. Look at this trap, y'all. Look at this. Holy shit. They were watching, somebody was paying attention to this channel. Was like, I'm trapping the only shorts in this market on this stock. They're all in Dan's Discord room. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Excuse my language. Airbnb. Talked about this one. Easy short at the references. Again, but the problem is you have to be careful. You have to layer in. You got to be thoughtful. Yeah. FedEx. Starting to bleed. This one looks like the slow death. Breaks the levels. I mean, FedEx leading. Would we not argue this is a leading bellwether of the economy? This FedEx gap down on earnings and make lower lows give you confidence that the market is strong like bull. No, it shouldn't. KRE, does junior banks look strong like... No, they look like shit. But here's the thing, and this is why I really think tomorrow... I'm going on record. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be in Phoenix, Scottsdale, seeing some friends, doing some work on my elbow. Do not be surprised if tomorrow is a pause day in the market. So all those folks who jumped on puts, just like Howard, if he's listening to this, I'm pretty sure the market makers and the specialists are going to jam one right up your ass. Because they're really good at that. They're really good at, giving you the lube so that you can take the pain. Yes, exactly, Eric. Most jobs days are dojis. Oh, how do you know that? Well, again, we talk about it. I think I have a video on that in here. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I'll have to trade the jobs days. There's just too many videos here. Just too many videos. Doji patterns. Layering in. I mean, my brain is hurting. We're scrolling through here. Oh my God, do I not have it on there? All right, well, if you're part of the Discord room, it should be like the most obvious thing ever. We say this all the time. Every job date, it's once a month. 12 wonderful times of the year. You get a lot of indecision candles. And if you don't know what a doji is, here's that video. Oh, my speakers aren't working. Hold on.
This is Dan Max.
Oh, just kidding. Oh, that's bad. My intro is just silent. Man. Usually seen as a reversal. If you don't know what a doji looks like, that's what it is. So we'll see. I mean, again, near term, this is why, again, if I was a bear, yeah, I mean, the VIX is still low. Give yourself fucking time. Stop trying to ram jam short-dated options getting rich. I mean, I was telling people, like, they're like, what's your puts on Taiwan Semi? I got end of March. I mean, it doesn't go from the top to the bottom in a week or a month. Started at the bottom, now we here. Okay, if you bought puts up here, started at the top, how long is it going to take? I don't fucking know. Faster the better, in my opinion. If the implied volatility screams, I mean, I'll take more of the options off. Tesla, every day I get, hey, what do I do with this stock? I'm like, well, I told you to do what to do with it. I told you to get the fucking out of it up here and just let it go. Maybe trade around it. Now it's just turd. It's purgatory. It's endless purgatory. It's giving you the worst formation ever as a bull. The middle finger pattern. When you see this on the monthly, you run. At worst, you're coming back down to 107. If you're lucky, I mean, biggest volume, I've always said this somewhere in the 60s. The other volume was down here in this doji on the monthly. The middle finger pattern. You don't want that. Hey, Andrew. How you doing, bud? NVIDIA, again, I could rattle off why you got to be careful. I mean, here's the thing, though. If you really wanted to, and this is why the implied volatility on these options are so expensive. They have earnings coming up. We know that. I mean, at this point, it would just lay off of it, and maybe it holds the market up. I don't know. Nancy Pelosi, trader of the year or trader of the decade, right? Turned her portfolio from making $250,000 a year to being worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Trader of the, I mean, she should just literally have a show on. I mean, she could quit. She should literally, well, no, she can't literally quit. Her husband should do a show on CNBC called Fast Money, Rigged Money, Insider Trading Money. I would watch that. Wouldn't you? Who wouldn't watch Nancy Pelosi's husband give financial advice on CNBC? Maybe the most popular show they ever had. Just saying. Or they do a show called What's Congress Up To? How about that show? Who would not watch that? Tell me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment below. Really. Watch Congress Trades, CNBC, every day. Literally every day, all the trades that they're putting in. How funny would that be? That would be the most value you'd ever get from CNBC. Instead, someone came on yesterday and was like, well, they said the market's going higher. Buy the dip. All right, yeah. Buy the dip. Okay. I caught a lot of moves today. Video game returns this year. Nice. Fun. Congrats. Again, I mean, I try to tell people, like, near term, I'm like, Fed day, inside day, jobs day. I mean, if you really want to get absolutely bearish, you need to break the 20-day and the trend line on the Qs. IWM looks like shit, so it's only a matter of time, right? Yeah, don't need a show, just need a live feed. IWM's busted. I guess you could draw. Hold on, we need to draw another trend line, or we need to readjust this one. Because I'm pretty sure we're riding it now. Yep, there you go. We know junior banks. Like, I mean, this is the kind of, I mean, like FedEx, we showed you that. KRE, I mean, this is just not the action you see in a strong economy. It hits the no doubt fail zone, but it took weeks, right? It took weeks. That's hard. That's why I always tell people swing trading is not for The faint of heart. Those who have no patience. Those who feel like they must always trade and be aggressive. Because again, define your risk. You stop out, great. And you can always come back. Say you lose a point, but now you're like, all right, cool. I'll lose a point. Say you lose 3 points 3 different times. 1 point each time. You made it all back. And you're setting yourself up for at least a touch of the 30s. That's just the nature of the beast. Same thing as buying bottoms. Like, you got to be very careful. You don't assume. Because again, how many people... I hear about this all the time, or I see this in my live feed all the time. PayPal. How many people just kept buying the dip? How many people just said, you know what? It's time to buy the dip. Time to buy. Oh, now it's fast forward all the way down. Now, okay, all right, buy the dip, sure. Verizon offering $600 off on new iPhone, still getting people to buy them cheap. Yeah, Verizon. I don't know. I can't remember who eats the costs on all of those specials, but it's got to be showing you that Verizon ain't selling no iPhones, and that means Apple. Would Verizon be, again, someone correct me if I'm wrong if I'm this. I'm pretty sure I know that they somehow have some sort of compensation plan based on how, when they sell the phones, who assumes the risk. Only put it there because, no, of course. It's not like Verizon's paying full, obviously, retail price, so they're going to pay a wholesale price. But what's the wholesale price? And will they obviously do contracts with Apple and say, listen, we'll take X amount wholesale and then we'll give you 6, we'll give the other half, the profit will be based on X amount. And so then Apple can go, all right, well, we anticipate to sell this many phones. Verizon taking on this much risk. I could be wrong. That's going to be interesting. No, that's the thing. That Howard guy, again, he's like, Apple's got to crash before Friday. I'm like, why would you give? Imagine if you were short Apple. And again, I knew a bunch of people couldn't chat yesterday, but I appreciate Eric and Andrew. If you had Apple short from the fucking highs, excuse my language, would you have this week's options going into earnings? Or if you're short from the highs and you had this nice profit, would you not hedge instead? Do you want to treat money like trading like a casino and gambling and just press it and give yourself no time? I would buy the short dated calls as the hedge. And then you win either way. As long as it doesn't go just absolutely nowhere. And if it does go absolutely nowhere, at least your risk was defined. Right? So many people fuck that up. Oh, man. Tired. Getting some Discord pops. Oh, someone in the options chat. Yeah, you guys are... SPX. Yeah, someone's saying something about the SPX. The SPX is $SPX. That's, if I remember correct, the SPY pays a dividend. The SPX doesn't. Yeah, right? There's no X dividends on here, right? Look at the SPY. SPY pays dividends quarterly during OPEXs. Or no, monthly, right? It's monthly, sorry. No, it is quarterly. Stupid. It's quarterly during the OPEXs. The SPX doesn't. Got it? Cool. That's the difference. Someone was asking about that earlier. I apologize. Wow, Micron, that thing's a turd. Oh, man, I'm tired. I'm tired, guys. Long days. My real estate stuff has been absolutely picking up like crazy. And it's not from like the market picking up. It's just from me doing the work, doing some more marketing and trying to get people, reaching out to people. Because, again, we're going into the season, right? And it's just like, it's interesting. I'm getting more buyers, but the problem is they're all qualified. And, again, I apologize if any of them are listening. I'm not trying to be cheap or, like, make fun of them. But they all can qualify before $350,000 to $450,000 in Denver. Do you know what the average median house is in Denver? It's in the 630s. As I've said about real estate, the low-end stuff really has no downside. Upside, the high-end stuff, second homes, that's what's getting smoked. Yep. SPX. It's just, yep. So, and that's the nature. I mean, there's always going to be people buying and selling, right? It's just the amount of sellers who have what I call anchor mortgages. They're not going anywhere. And then you have buyers who can't afford crap. And so it's like you have a stale market over a certain price point. And so all the people that my marketing's bringing to me, and this is a good feedback for everyone listening, is that I'm not getting, I'm spending a decent amount of money on marketing in real estate in Denver again, as I typically do this time of year. And what am I getting? People who can't qualify, people who can't afford to buy a house at the median price point. Whereas years ago, it'd be like, oh, plenty of people. Interest rates make a difference. And if I am the feds, I would let the market tank and let interest rates drop. Absolutely going into the spring. So if you have the TLT, I would say I'm 95% confident. If you're listening, Jay Solstice, leave a comment. I appreciate it. That this is some sort of head and shoulders bottom. Talked about the first dip would probably be a good buy. I honestly thought we'd get maybe a little lower. But, bonds are telling you shit's slowing down. So good trade, my friend. Again, it wasn't even on my radar. I was giving him props. In a TL, where is it? TLT. Always in the friend zone. Nice trade on those TLT latos. All right, any other thoughts, questions, concerns? If not, I will wrap it up. As I said, there will be no daily market review. I'm going down to Colorado Springs to meet up in a big real estate group about subject to financing. Again, I know how it works. I'm trying to find more of it. It's an interesting topic. Again, I'll talk real estate for a second. If not, if anyone doesn't have a question, but subject to is taking over someone's existing mortgage, making the payments while the title is transferred into your name so that you can take advantage of someone's low interest rates. And someone say, well, why would I let you make payments on my mortgage? That sounds stupid. Well, is it? Right? I will agree to a higher price on your house with lower payments if I can make over. So again, say your house is selling for $500 and you have a 2.5% interest rate. Well, I'm thinking long term, I'm gladly pay 10% over market price. I will gladly agree to a $550 purchase price to get your 2.5% interest rate. Because now at least I can cash flow. And if I'm playing the long game, well, guess what? I'm not too concerned about real estate long term. But again, you don't lose until you sell, right? Well, what if I don't need to sell? So, getting interested with the question. Where should I find information on what I need at least cash wishes for houses in the... How much cash do you need for the 150,000 range? Again, hit me up if you want. I can put you in touch with my lender. And again, people are like, oh, you're just pushing your lender. No, this is my lender. If you trust me with being honest, my lender is how I trust. Like, those are the type of people I rely on because I don't need to overlook them. I don't need to double check that they're looking out for my client's interests. Like, I'm not hesitant to call her a fucking saint. She's been in real estate for 25 years. She's been a mortgage lender for 15 of them. She ran a successful real estate group at one point in her life too. She knows how mortgages work, how they price, how to get people good deals. And so that's where I start with. And how much cash do you need to bring? Well, it really depends, right? You can get a 3.5% down FHA mortgage. You can get a 5% down mortgage depending on if it's multifamily or the property situation. There's products for everything. And that's where being able to talk to someone who's actually going to not sell you on some one product, who has knowledge of the whole market in mortgages. Talk to her. Hit me up. DM me. I'll gladly share information. No problemo. She is the shiznit. And if you're looking to find a house, and I tell this people all the time, let me find your agent. Because again, if you go on Zillow and you just pick up some fucking agent, you're doing the same thing. But instead of getting two agents for one, you're letting Zillow put you in touch with some goofball who's paying for their leads. If I help you find an agent, I will be involved in the process, the transaction with you. And then the other agent will be the eyes on the ground, doing most of the ground and legwork. However, you have both my experience and that agent's experience to bounce ideas off, thoughts, processes, what you're looking for. And also too, that say the agent doesn't seem, and again, this is the reality of it, is that not, I mean, I'll try to, again, I call all the agents before you pick. I don't let my clients pick them. I call and I ask them questions. I interview the shit out of them. And then ultimately, again, like say there's something that you're not sure of, I'll confirm it. I have no, again, I've always told people this, like I genuinely love helping people, especially in real estate. That's, again, you're going to pay Zillow, again, the sellers, it comes out as if you're a buyer. Remember in the United States, sellers pay, I would say not all the time, 95% of the sellers pay the commission, right? It's built into the contracts when they list a house. So the buyer pays nothing. So you'll pay me nothing. You'll pay the agent referred nothing. The seller's agent will pay us, or the seller actually pays. It's in their listing contract. That's how it typically works. And so ultimately, you have two people to bounce the ideas off with, someone to help you. And I've always told people this, and again, if you're going to pay a referral to Zillow or any of these other bullshit real estate groups, they're going to put you in touch with an agent that you have no clue experience-wise. If you give me a call, let me help out. Again, I will be involved in the transaction from start to finish. And again, I will get paid by the seller's commission, so it's free. It's absolutely free. And if your agent, and this is where it helps, is if I'm involved in the transaction and your agent doesn't seem to be doing what you think is right, and again, maybe you already have, again, I always have people after the fact, if you any agent, bounce your ideas off of me. Because sometimes that's the thing. Whether I'm with you or not, that's fine. You can hit me up. I'll answer the question. I don't mind. Sometimes agents' best interests and your best interests not always aligned. That's why you got to do the homework. Are they willing to sell your house? Are they willing to help you work hard to buy a house on a deal? Most agents are just like, go surf the MLS and show up at some open houses. Good luck. See you at the end. Yep. And yeah, it happens, Shannon. Like, this is the thing. I mean, like, I would have never recommended. Yeah, I mean, I would never recommended doing what your agent recommended doing to you guys. And I feel bad. I try not to internalize that pain, but I look at it and go, that to me seemed very obvious. I wouldn't have done that. And so again, for example, Shannon's circumstance, I won't get into it, but if I would have been involved in the process, I would, you could have ran the IB, like we would have all group chatted. And I would have said to myself, well, if you're going to take the house off the market for just 2 months, be careful. You're going to have to show something's different, because if not, the market's going to be like, what happened? Right? If a house goes off the market, nothing changes in 2 months, sellers get penalized because buyers are going, oh, it seems like you had a contract that went through that failed. That's what they assume, right? Or something else is going on and you guys are in some real bad pain. And as an agent, that's what I'd be sniffing out. If I was a buyer's agent, I'm like, so hold on, you listed your house and then you took it off the market for 2 months and you guys didn't do anything? That's blood in the water. It's blood in the water. How many months do you want to wait? It's not really about the months. It's what you do to the house, in my opinion. Because you're going to want to take new photos. You're going to want to do a refresh in the advertising and the branding. Because if everything seems the same, if I'm a seasoned agent and I see a house go off the market, come right back on, and nothing's changed, yeah, you might get a few extra showings to start from new people. But if it's the same people who've been sitting in the market, wholesalers, all sorts of, just people, all the lowball offers are coming. They're coming hard. Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, they took it off the market and they put it back on. They didn't change anything. Wow, they really need to sell. They really, really, really need to sell. Like that's the feel of it, right? Because again, obviously, if you're an agent, you can see the listing history. You can see everything, right? Man, there's some really bad agents out there. At one point in this country, for every house sold, there was one agent. Imagine that. What does that tell you about 80% of agents out there? Remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. So that other 20% of the market's being done by 80% of the agents. So how many deals are those people doing a year, you think? How much experience do you think those agents really have? Now, but this is where you got to be careful, right? Like there's really good agents, but if you want full tailored service, right? There's some agents who have been around, will do the work, but they're not very hands-on. They'll put you off to their team. Okay, well, who's their team? Dan, Max, and then it's my dog, my cat, my friends, right? Like you don't know the agent that actually might be working at the point in some of these teams. So you got to be careful. You got to be very careful, and you got to know what you're getting into. Hotshot agent probably has 10 guys working under him. Well, are you really working with the hotshot agent, or are you working with his team? Those are questions you got to ask yourself. Again, I prefer working with, I've always said, like small independent groups where one or two guys, girls, gals, whatever, as a team collectively cover all their clients together. And then you have two usually experienced agents or one experienced agent as a team or as a group that has help from other agents in the area. I mean, it's not rocket science. Doing the showings is the least important thing, right? Just an agent walking around. Any monkey with a notepad can do that. But again, I would still recommend, does that monkey even know what to look for in a house? What are the problems? Do they know how to look at a foundation? Do they know how to ask questions about the roof, hot water heater? Do they know how to like sniff out, issues that might look like, that ceiling looks like it was just repainted. Was there a leak up there? Oh, but it's not in the seller's property disclosure. Interesting. Okay. You're walking in the ground to ground and you're looking at how all of the water, you're like, doesn't seem to run off well. And then you go look at the foundation, you see a little crack form, and you go, seems like you guys have drainage issues. Okay, then you go check there's so many things. Not necessarily checking the foundation, all of a sudden I'm brain farting. Sub pump. Like, is there a pump down here? Oh, it's full of water all the time. That's interesting. Okay, just little things. Hey, maybe this house might need a home warranty. Like, have you seen that fridge? Seen that AC unit? Seen that HVAC system? Man, that thing was built in the 90s, player. That ain't going to last forever. All right, well, why don't we slap the seller, or if the buyer, if you want, at the closing, purchase a home warranty. Buy yourself a 2-year home warranty. So if anything breaks, wink, wink, which it will, because I almost tell people, like, run it hard. Run that stuff to break because it's covered under warranty. If your warranty's, like most of them, it's just $100 deductible to replace it. So you may pay $500 or $600 for a really good warranty, and if you buy a 2-year, maybe $1,000. But if something breaks major, you're getting a refresh, especially with like HVAC, hot water heaters, AC units, that stuff, or major issues. Maybe you have a root growing in your septic lines, in your lines. So many things that can go wrong. That's why you need Inspector Gadget. Sniff it out. So, all right, I'm just talking real estate. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Again, I love to help out. Love to give you insights. Again, I always tell people, like, if I don't know the answer, I will never lie to somebody. I will never tell you something you want to hear. I'll go, let me ask somebody. Talk to an attorney. Talk to someone more experienced. Talk to someone in the HOA. Talk to someone involved in the processes. Like, do not rely on agents. And actually, they could be sued if they don't do their due diligence. So if you need a lender, let me know. Need help, let me know. Everything, let me know. That's my job, is to help and facilitate. Because I don't want people to feel like they're alone, especially in trading. Like, you're learning, you're growing. If you want to get into real estate, knowledge is a gift, right? Like, there's a lot of guys offering free knowledge, right? But there's always a catch. And that's where my catch is, like, hey, if you need help with real estate, let me be your agent, referral. That's all. Nothing comes out of your pocket if you're buying. If you're selling, obviously I'll get paid a little bit out of the closing from your selling your house. Who cares? At least you had 2 agents, you had someone helping you. And then the goal is ultimately future. It's the future. It's always the future. Once we do a deal together well, you'll feel confident making the next steps, because this is the key, right? How do you learn anything? Through mentorship, through help. You did not take on, remember when you were 20 years old, you got your first job, or your first real job out of college, 20s? Did you not seek out help? Did you not get mentored and taught how to do the job, or did you just show up and fail? And if you showed up and failed, then experience was the teacher. But we don't want experience to be the teacher. We don't want you making mistakes. That's not ideal. So, all right. I appreciate you guys and gals. Love you all. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Keep in mind jobs day tomorrow, probably a doji, indecisive action. Near term, again, I'm not really, it's earnings. We don't know what the Apple reaction is going to be. You don't know what the Amazon reaction is going to be. I mean, if I remember correctly, there was a bunch of calls in the past that were projecting upside in Amazon. I will see. I mean, so far that's been good. I mean, that was definitely the right idea there. Hold on one second. I think it's block call of CV calls for the March. It's interesting because there was seems like they were wrong on the February's. Let's see what's going on with this one. It's always curious when we see these options. Oh, didn't get to our lows. Yeah, of course, Shannon. And again, for $600 Shannon, like, dude, you have my number. You have my link to Calendly. You can always book a session. I have no problems sharing time with people who have supported the channel, always been friendly. It's just I know there's a lot of information out there. There's just so much information. That's what's the hardest thing, right? In trading, think about with trading. Everybody's telling you how to get rich quick. I'm the only one saying, like, no, the goal is to execute, learn, treat every dollar the same so that when you do make tens, thousands, dollars, whatever, pause. Ron Bojan. No, we talked about that one here. Since you asked a question about stock, I'll gladly jump into that. URNJ. Yeah, we talked about that one. We said it looked good, didn't we? Well, hold up. Got to slow the roll here. Again, long term, I think. Again, I mean, if you're talking about near term, I'd be very skeptical of a breakout. Be very skeptical. I wouldn't trust that at all, actually. But again, I could be wrong. It's again, in time, I'm not saying maybe this week, but when the market pops and some of the liquidity comes out, do not be surprised if this name doesn't break out. But if it does break out, cool. Again, it's a name for the long run. I would agree. This thing looks really good. Junior uranium shares. Yeah. No, I appreciate you pulling that one out, Ron Bojangles. Every time I see your last name, I'm thinking of Bojangles, man. I grew up in North Carolina. I miss that place. Yeah. Kazakhstan announced a big shortfall. Yeah. I mean, hey, bud, I think we know, like, if the Feds had cut and now we knew the liquidity was coming into the market, Ron, I would be like, don't touch this stock for 6 months. Like, that would be the bottom. Yeah, CCJ. I thought CCJ was this week for some reason. I had it in my notes that it was on Tuesday. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you don't, we know the market's going to be volatile. This to me is just more of a buy, like trade around the position. But once the Feds go full QE, man, this thing could probably, I mean, it's already done pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised. Do the 2 times range here real quick. 23 down to 13. So it's 10 on top of, 33 would be probably the upside max near term. The 7th? Okay. I guess they can change their dates. Good. Hey, and again, shout out to Ron because this was his trade. He said, hey, I like this. We talked about if it broke out, looking good. But it's interesting. I don't like this formation here. And this is the thing. CCJ, same thing. It's not falling through. Look at this. Right? Be careful. I don't like these formations. They're very double topish because here's the volume, here's the retest. So, Aaron, what's to the moon? What's to the moon? We talked about this yesterday. Like, don't expect the market to just go one direction. We talked about, like, the KRE looks like shit. Like, junior banks are showing you issues. Yeah, if you want to hold the Q, I mean, dude, God, I was trying to get off this call. You came on here yesterday saying buy the Qs for the long term. Yesterday. For the long term. And then I tried to show you on the monthly, on the weekly, daily, whatever. Why would you buy that dip for the long term? Banks lead the market. The IWM, look at this. It looks like shit, bud. It's nowhere near the highs. And now it's making a lower high. Big volume. Again, we'll see unless they pump liquidity. It looks like shit. You were gambling so hard. The risk reward is so out of whack going long. Now, again, if you want to trade a day trade, I don't care. I don't care. But that's fine. Yeah. Financials. We talked about shorting them the last couple days. Winning trade. But if you think the financials will... And again, go look what's going on in Europe. Their European banks are imploding as we speak. Contagion. We have problems here. I mean, it's just a fact of life, sadly, that it can't go up forever. But if you want to chase highs, that's, again, I mean, I could literally talk about this for hours of how stupid you will feel when you do that kind of shit. If you're telling me long run investing, just buy any time and hold, that's what you're told. And I've heard this story over and over, man. You're going to like give me a heart attack. Because this is what happens. After big moves, you get stuck. Like Microsoft goes nowhere for 15 years. Yeah, Citigroup never recovered. You got to be real careful, man. You got to be real careful. Now, if you want to trade it, yeah, we talked about it. I've even said earlier in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised if the doji day, which again, it feels like 8 out of 10 jobs days are dojis, indecisive days. I would be surprised if the market just did nothing. You still have some earnings next week. Remember, the seasonality is mid-February. Mid-February. Here, check the notes. Check the notes. Remember, mid-January and mid-February. It's earnings season. We talked about mid-January being profit-taking potentially, right? Well, didn't really happen as thought, but these cycles are usually very close. There's recurring patterns. Check it out. That's why, again, join the Discord room, link description below. I mean, here you go. You blew off into mid-January, but then it topped. No, and that's the thing, man. You got to be careful with the cues. You got to be so damn careful. Because I think, did I read alone? Amazon, Apple, and who was it? Microsoft. Those three market caps are bigger than any other market cap of any economy and stock index in the world. The law of large numbers at some point comes into play. There's no upside in the Qs, in my opinion. Unless you just funnel endless amounts of QE, then yeah, again, hyperinflation, running off the scales like Venezuela, whatever, running forever, yeah. But if the Feds have any desire to keep the dollar solvent, which again, betting on the end of the world has always been a bad bet. I think they will do the right thing. They'll bite the bullet. And not to say they won't go QE in time, but I think the perception is they need to get rates lower. That makes sense? Active channel. What do you mean you can't find the active channel? It could go up forever. No, it can't. Remember I showed you China, Japan's market. No, it cannot go up forever. But Nvidia's been looking bullish for AI for 6 months. You're late to the party. And I'm going to be real nice to you because you sound like a fucking idiot. Hey, buy AI. That's been the same. I mean, that's basically all of last year. All of last year. There's no risk reward, dude. Exactly. So do yourself a favor and don't listen to the fucking market pundits and the same stupid people on CNBC. Trust me. If CNBC made people rich, the show wouldn't be free. The whole channel wouldn't be free. It doesn't look bullish with AI. That AI narrative has been going on for a year, for almost, I don't even know how long. Like, you have to realize the more something moves in one direction, the more likely it's to pull back in time. You can't go one direction always. I just joined this room, but I can't find the active channel. Yeah, you have to get your what do you call this? Role upgraded. Again, I don't let just new folks come in and just trash the room with random comments. It's like, please tell your story. You have the education room to post in. DM me if you want. I'll upgrade your role. I don't mind since you're asking. You actually did the work. That's not a problem. All right, close Oxy short, decent profit, but I'm still thinking about it gets pushed higher. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Oxy's, I mean, oil's tough. I mean, that's the thing here. You have to trade oil, right? Like very aggressively. We know the downside's limited because you got to fill SPR. Man, you guys got me still talking. SPR, and we also know there's a huge short interest. So to me, that's like a powder keg for choppiness in a downward mark. That's tough. I mean, again, I like natural gas a lot. Shorting KOLD, whew. Now again, I don't surprise if there's pain coming out there, but that, I mean, remember, go zoom out. If you can get shares on this thing, it's a fucking turd. It decays. I love it. Love shorting turds that decay. Turd nation. I feel bad for someone 19 years old learning how to invest right now because that's like me. I was in my late teens, early 20s, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I thought stock trading was easy. And that's when they pulled the fucking rug on the dot. I mean, everybody got crushed. I remember because again, I grew up in Raleigh, Durham. You had the Research Triangle Park. Half the people I knew on paper were millionaires from their stocks. And what happened to those guys? All of them planned on retiring in 2002, 2003 if their stocks continued up. They all got burned. And it's not that those tech companies went out of business. It's just their stocks got burned. Because why? What happens? How did it play out? Well, again, law of large numbers. Do you not realize, like when you look at AMD, let's go pull it up. Man, you got me fired up because when I'm young, I wish I would, man, if I was 19 years old, fuck. I'd be a billionaire if I knew what I knew now. But you're going to come in here and you're going to tell me the market's going to go up forever. It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, whatever. PE, 312. You're paying 312 times next year's earnings. If this is Shark Tank again, I'd be laughing you off. I'd be like, no, I'm not paying that. So you're telling me your company makes, say, pretend it was $1 million a year. You're asking me to pay 312 times that for a piece of your company, right? No, fuck no. No way. Absolutely not. Get out of here. Zero. No, you don't leave any meat on the bone. Now, I'm not saying that AMD won't be around in the future or that the stock has to crash. I mean, it's just like I wouldn't buy it. I mean, the easy money's out of it. Yeah, everyone got burned in the tech bubble. I mean, I literally knew people that on paper were like, oh, I'm part of, what was something, Nortel. I'm going to be on Cisco. I'm going to make so much money in my stock. I'm going to be a millionaire forever. Burned. Hey, remember that Tesla stock we warned you guys about? Remember, I mean, again, I'm on record endlessly. Like, this is the blow off. You look at the monthly. Here's your middle finger pattern. But people are going to still keep buying this thinking it can't go lower. It's like the easy money's out. The growth is priced in. At some point, straight line moves, because this is what it looked like. And then we saw that, and we're like, uh-oh, doji. Goodbye. You got to be very careful. Big candles at highs, in general, be careful. You got to be careful. You got to be fucking cognizant here. The market is meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. If you don't realize that, you are the sucker. Just like if you don't know who the sucker is at the poker table, it is you. The market will pull people in endlessly. At some point, you got to be careful. Here's Apple. I mean, again, obviously this is splitting. All adjusted, but this is what it looked like. Gave it all back at some point. Oh, there it goes up to 7. Gave it back. 25, 14. Along the way, 33, 22. Along the way, 60, down to 33. And you're going to tell me it's time to buy at the highs. Your risk reward is totally not in your favor. You cannot buy the Qs here for the long term. If you decide to, then you better disappear. But if you're actually trying to trade and make money, then you have to be cognizant of risk reward. It's the first thing you always ask yourself when you are making a trade. What is my upside and what is the downside if I'm wrong? If they are equally the same, why would you trade that? If the up and the down are equal, why? Then it means you don't trade it. But at some point, and everyone's like, oh, you're just always bearish. No, the people that know me know at lows, we're bullish. And then we can try to ride it up. And again, last year was, to me, kind of an anomaly, but we'll see. I mean, last year was, again, I expected some bounce. We talked about that in October of 2022, if you're around, talked about it. I just thought we'd be slowly coming down but here's the thing. It didn't happen. There were some up trades. There were some down trades. But it made sense to me because what I see in the market, what I see what's going on in the economy, again, but this is the thing. The market can diverge from the economy. We saw this in 2007, 2008, 2009. It didn't happen overnight. Things were getting worse in 2006, in 2007, in 2008, and then it's kapow. It comes fast. COVID, if you were trading with us, following us, we said China is literally turning off every fucking manufacturing facility there. Smokestacks, you could see the weather change. It literally was like naturally, like global warming went away overnight when China turned off all their coal factories. We're like, oh shit, COVID's real. And he said, there's a bounce. I could talk forever. Anyway, I'm going to let it go. I appreciate you guys. Please do the homework. Do not listen. You are not going to get rich doing what everybody does. You're not going to get rich doing what the poor and middle class jabronis are always doing. Again, the poor think everything's a scam. And people who are scared to invest, they want to go cheap. They want to learn from reading fool.com. I mean, the irony of some of these websites and the investing, it's a fucking joke. Again, if you're getting free information, it's probably late. I'm trying to give you the information based on what? Technicals, risk reward, the analysis that we see based on the candle formation, seasonality, time of the year, all the things that the big boys use. Anyway, I don't know. It boggles my mind. People are just so dumb. So dumb sometimes. And I was dumb when I was young too. I just believed everybody. Here, I'll end it on this because this is one of the stocks that I really, really, really believed in the early 2000s satellite radio. It was the thing. Way better than terrestrial radio. Way better than terrestrial radio. Started buying it in the mid 90s. Thought I was a genius. Thought I would hold it forever. Thought it wasn't even in every car in the world. It wasn't a part of every stereo top, whatever fucking laptop. It wasn't on the internet yet. Oh, it's going. Oh, they're going to put satellite radio on the internet. Oh yeah, we're going. I got murdered. I learned my lesson. And look where it's now. Where is it? $6 still. So do not get complacent. You don't know the future, but just keep in mind, when somebody's doing really well, that means someone's coming after your business. Someone's going to try to replicate it. Or it's the death of a million paper cuts. Where, say you're a big conglomerate, you're a big company, well, you have a weakness, someone's going to try to do better than you. That's my example. That's my first foray in investing and thinking that stocks only go up. Now you look at the stock and you laugh and you joke, like, what the fuck is that? You don't know what the WTF future stock that you're looking at right now could be the next Peloton, the next Siri, the next any of these. I mean, again, people do not remember this. Like AMD's had runs before and it just burned. Wasn't that AMD went out of business either. Do you guys see this? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? This wick is dangerous looking. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.